Haley Deep is like 12 years old. That's who we just... She's 12 years old.
Yeah, she was just thinking that.
Yes, and she has a remarkable voice.
Yeah.
I spoke with her mom, and I'm surprised they don't have a record label yet.
Yeah.
But with her voice, she's top #1 in the UK.
Really?
And she's in the top 10 over here. But we were just talking about tours when we were off the air. And the question came up when we were off the air, if you wanted to go on tour, who would you want to go on tour with?
Being realistic, if there was a tour offered, we set our sights for things beyond, obviously, we want to be beyond where we are right now. We were just reading, actually, that tour package that's right there, that there was a few months ago, actually, they came up to Rochester, almost that same tour package. But band that we really love, there's two kind of divisions or two ways to go about it. Should we tour with Christian or non-Christian bands? Some people don't look at it like that. But some Christian metal bands intentionally try to tour with non-Christian bands because, of course they're going to be light in that. And so I don't really have either way. I think the seeing the partying thing and, all that darkness and all that would kind of get old. But also to not everybody wants to talk to a pastor. You know what I mean? That's intimidating or not intimidating, but, that's just kind of like a loaded gun, just like it's a pastor, even if they're the best pastor in the world, most loving, kind heart, they love God and they really just care about that person. At the end of the day, they're a pastor, and so they represent a certain thing, the church and, suppression and whatever, all this stuff. But, that band right there, Last 10 Seconds of Life, they're from not too far where we are right now. Really awesome, DIY, self-made. Everything they've done to this point is them. Actually, it was a little bit crazy. They started with 2 guitarists and 2 bassists. When I thought it was a little bit cheesy, but now they've broken it down. They're just a four-member, guitar, bass, drum, vocals. Really awesome band. That other band actually right there, King Conquer. I mean, they're totally against everything that we stand for. But as far as sonically, the music that they put out, it's awesome. It's really the top of the genre that we're going for. But as far as like other unsigned Christian metal bands, I Built the Cross is one of them. They're awesome. I don't even know if they're touring or not. But that band we were listening to, Eyes of the Defiled, Weslandia, just a bunch of these Christian metal bands that I really feel like are doing it right. Into the Flood, they're a little bit different than us, but they just got signed to Century Media, and that's cool to see, like a band, we were talking about, to get signed to a non-Christian label that they can be a light into that darkness. So, plenty of bands. I could go on with the question forever, but those are some of my favorites. The one side of it, Impending Doom at this point is kind of one of my dream bands to tour with. I think it'd be cool to like play a festival with them, and then on the non-Christian realm, some of our influences that we had listed there: Oceano, Suffocate, just bands that have really, not the heart of their band. The heart of what they're doing is totally separate from what we're doing, but for the sound of it, a lot of those bands, we love them. I know if Mark was here, he would say this band called the Bridal Procession and Cannibal Corpse is like probably one of his, top 3 bands of all time. So, some good bands and some some very different from what we stand for. But yeah.
Yeah, I could already see a big old tour bus packed up with y'all and with somebody.
Yeah.
He already read something about Toby Mac, top number 1 Billboard, the top 200. If you were in that spot, the top number 1 of 200, that's a major blessing, of course. What would you have to say about that? I mean, you have your fans out there probably wondering, is our band going to make it in the top 200 of the billboards?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Or can you comment about that?
Yeah, well, I think to be in that sort of a position we would have to be, that would definitely mean that we have a record label, and if not, then we're definitely, the miracle, the one that got away or whatever. It would be crazy. I mean, that would have a lot of implications. For one, that would mean that a metal band could get to the top of the chart, which, that's that in itself would be pretty crazy. I've seen, just speaking of metal in general, I've seen metal bands get pretty high up there. It's a watered down version of metal as far as for what we do, but still, definitely metal as far as, generally speaking is concerned. But, for us to be at that, I guess that would mean that that's what God had called us to. Mark, the vocalist of this project, we've talked and stuff, and he feels called to music in general. I don't think he's going to be a death metal, deathcore, or whatever, vocalist forever. But he just in general is called to music. For me, I don't necessarily think that. I think this is kind of something that I do and something that I enjoy. But I guess if it got to that point, then I guess the decision's been made. Then that's kind of what I would do. But I would love that. I would love to be in that position for this main reason, that not as much about the money or the fame or stuff like that, but to be able to have that much influence. Toby Mac, like you were saying, he's a cool guy. Like, he got to where he is for a bunch of different reasons, but I don't really know much about him, but I know that if he walked into a room, you would know he walked into the room. Christian, non-Christian, put it all aside. He's a cool guy. And so to be in that position, it just means that you have influence. The reason people want to look like and talk like and act like and sound like and be like all these terrible influences and these pop stars and these people that, let us down. The reason they want to be like them is because they have so much influence. But imagine if, like, somebody that loved God, was 100% for real. Not that they're not, at the core of who they are, a sinner, a sinful person. But I mean, somebody that's been redeemed by God, to be in a position like that, to, in the Christian world, be able to speak truth and, maybe redirect. And, sometimes there's that hateful realm of it, or that, hey, this is all good, let's get away with it. To be able to course correct that. And then also for the non-Christian to be like, hey, you don't have to be like a nobody. God saved you, your soul, not your personality. So, like, you can still be who you are, so that would be cool to be in that position. I don't really ever see that, not because I don't believe God for great things, but, I'd rather have other things in my life than be at the top of a Billboard chart. But yeah, it'd be cool, I guess.
Yeah, but we're going to take another break, just to get up, walk around. We're going to play 3 songs. These 3 songs is pretty much ministry all the way. Cool. I don't know what they are just yet, but we'll go there. We're going to take a little break. Here's The Protest, pretty cool band, Madison Regardless of Consequence, on ECR.